vast oil reserves. The president says the next move is reopening Venezuela's oil sector to American companies, potentially reshaping global energy markets. Venezuela holds the world's largest proven oil reserves, but years of mismanagement and instability have crushed its oil production. From the oil Venezuela does produce, only 19% has gone to the United States, 78% has gone to China. Peter Earle, Director of Economics and Economic Freedom at the American Institute for Economic Research, joins me now. So what changes if Nicolas Maduro is no longer in charge of Venezuela and its oil production?
Well, there's an opening now for U.S. firms to get back involved, but this is no overnight task, right? I mean, decades of mismanagement have left entire oil fields, pipelines, and refineries in bad condition, so they have to be replaced. It's going to take years of engineering and capital investment. And there's another factor, and that's that Venezuela's oil is heavy crude, which is costly to extract. But the fact is that this sends a huge signal to the world. It's a reordering of influence in the global energy markets, and it's key in a world where now supply security matters almost as much as the prices per barrel do.
This is kind of a warning shot to some of the other bad actors around the world, including Iran, about what could happen to them, right?
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, in 10 days, we had the U.S. sort of rattle sabers against Nigeria, Iran, and Venezuela. That's 3 continents with major oil producers. And it's a strategic signal, not just a purely economic one. I think the Trump administration is communicating that energy security, geopolitical links, and supply chains are all connected, and that oil producers are not or no longer insulated from power politics. And so, I'm glad somebody mentioned Cuba, because this is an existential blow to the Marxist regime in Havana, which has long depended on access to subsidized oil 500 miles away. They've now lost a major economic lifeline.
Yeah, and they used to get it from Russia or from the Soviet Union, but it's been Venezuela until recently. Now, a lot of the Venezuelan oil infrastructure was built by American firms, and then the Venezuelans essentially just stole it, right? They nationalized the oil infrastructure and stole it from American companies. Are those companies going to be ready to jump back in?
So, they probably will, but oil projects are very long-lived investments. They require 10 or 20 years to generate acceptable returns. And what that means is that, a lot of companies are going to want to know that their ownership rights, their tax policies, contract enforcement, all of that is in place before they commit tens of billions of dollars. And even when they have those assurances, I think they're going to move slowly. They're going to use pilot projects, limited exposure as they assess the legal and political environment. So, in oil production, patience is risk management, and I think that's what we're going to see. It's not going to be an overnight thing, as I mentioned. It's going to take time.
But Chevron has been operating in Venezuela even under the Maduro dictatorship, right?
They have been. They've been operating under constraints, and whether this means they're going to face more competition, or this means that they're going to be able to operate more fully and have more complete operations, we have to see.
But in terms of what this means for oil markets, this is bad news for the Russians, and generally good news for Americans and anybody else who buys gasoline around the world, right?
Yeah, I certainly think so. I mean, even if Venezuelan oil were suddenly fully accessible, prices can't fall below a certain amount. So when prices drop below the cost of producing a marginal barrel, companies cut investment. Right now oil's at about $57 a barrel. I think that would happen at about $50 a barrel. So there's some downside room for lower oil prices and therefore lower gasoline prices. But it's gonna take time for that to materialize.
Peter Earle, thanks for your expertise.
Thanks for having me.
You bet.